With GTA 6 getting pushed off to 2026, the highway looks wide open for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 to take home that Game of the Year award. And honestly, people might have been looking forward to this, but nobody could have anticipated how good and how well received this game has been. And the more that I hear about it, and especially about the development, the people behind the scenes, and really everything about this game, it gets me really excited to play it. Haven't bought it yet, okay, but you know, hey, when it goes on sale or towards the end of the year, when I start to free up a little bit more time, I'm really looking forward to it, man, because everything that I'm seeing about this, without hyperbole, is exactly what I want out of gaming moving forward. Okay, that's why I'm going to sing its praises until I am, in fact, blue in the face, or sacre bleu in the face. Ugh, I'll see myself out. But Emmanuel Macron, when he's not screwing up France and jailing his political opponents, took a little time out of his day to appreciate one of the best exports that his country has provided in a very long time. As spotted by PC Gamer, the French president commented on a new post by Clair Obscur, Expedition 33's official Instagram account. Really, it's translated by Google. Macron congratulated the developers for selling 1 million copies and becoming one of the best rated games in history. He also stated that the developers rated boldness and creativity in French. Or did they do that in French or do that in France? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Sandfall Interactive is a French developer, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is the studio's debut game. The turn-based RPG is set in an original world that mixes fantasy and European belle epic. Belle epic. There we go. Art influences. Players will find strong French influence throughout the game. Yeah, but don't let that dissuade you. Whether in the narrative, the world, or design. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has already received critical acclaim ahead of release, and a couple days later, it became the highest rated game of 2025. And honestly, the longer this has gone on, the more praise it has got, and how it has enshrined itself as one of the best reviewed games of all time, bar none. And no, there's no Last of Us 2 type shenanigans going on here, where there's a massive critical reception as opposed to the audience reception. No, everybody loves this game, and I've seen a bunch of people play it. I haven't watched it, okay, mostly because I want to try to keep myself as distanced from the game as possible, because I've seen some of the mechanics, okay, I've seen how the game is played, and then also I've listened to the guy's inspirations, okay, and I know that this game is right up my alley, okay, and to just back this up as it being a massive success, not just critically, not just with the audience, but commercially as well. Expedition 33 already outgrossed Assassin's Creed Shadows' total 6-week Steam revenue in its second weekend, despite costing costing $20 less than the base edition of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, the gaming industry's a greedy proclivity to raise all of their prices, which, yeah, we seen Microsoft last week raise their prices so this upcoming holiday season to an $80 baseline to offset the ballooning budgets that you guys thrust upon yourself by getting in bed with stupid unions hiring all of these consultancy firms. Recently, you had, the Kingdom Come Deliverance team, Daniel Varva at Warhorse Studio, come out and say, oh yeah, in order to not offend anybody, leftists, we just hired consultants from everywhere. Yeah, you went from an indie game sensation that was kickstarted and funded by your audiences to a first-party Microsoft release with a ballooned budget, and very few people have that same type of attachment to the sequel that they did with the earnest original. Good stuff, man. Glad you secured the bag on that one. But Expedition 33 here, yeah, gross revenue of the base game, $38.4 million on Steam, somewhere between, depending on the estimates, $22 million and $55 million, depending on where you're at, as opposed to Shadows, where you have a $34.7 million median, which, yeah, that kind of lets me know that 38 is a little bit bigger of a number than 34 for a game that also cost $5 to $15 million to create an Expedition 33, as opposed to the $250 to $350 million that Shadow's budget is. Hilarious. But the game's lead recently sat down with the BBC for a wide-ranging interview about the creation, the development, and his inspirations behind the game. And yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan of what I've been hearing out of this project, and it goes to show you that all of the bloat, all of the bluster of AAA is just that, bloat and bluster, and totally unnecessary to create something that is in fact a phenomenon, something that is capturing the public discourse, not sacrificing visuals, not sacrificing gameplay, not sacrificing anything, and still being a smash hit. Clair Obscur. How a passion project became 2025's most talked about game. In 2020, at the height of the coup, Guillaume Broche, was like millions of others around the world, bored in their job and wanting to do something different. Interesting. Working for French gaming giant Ubisoft at the time, he was bored at his job and wanted to do something different, developing a game. Oh, okay. Why is Clair Obscur Expedition 33 so successful? Oh, it's because it's passionate developers working on a project that they want to work on. Oh, weird. It's almost like these soulless mega corporations that have had a very large gaps between, successful projects. Yeah, it's almost like them working on franchise installments at a soulless rate. It ends up driving soulless products. Big shock on that one. But yes, he had an idea for his own project, a role-playing game inspired by one of his childhood favorites, the classic Japanese series Final Fantasy. See, this is why I want to play this game so bad. Anyways, that would become Clair Obscur Expedition 33. 5 years later, has become a sensation. Sold 1 million copies in just 3 days, topped Spotify's viral charts with its soundtrack, and even won praise from French President Emmanuel Macron. Well, one of these things is a little bit less important than the others. But one of the most remarkable things about it is the story about how it was made. Yes, a tale of a random Reddit message, massive luck, and an unusual approach to game development. Yeah, this is the literally one example of Reddit producing something good. Okay, outside of just laughs. Expedition 33 is set in Lumiere, a fictional world, overshadowed by a huge monolith bearing a glowing numeral on its face. Each year, an entity known as the Paintress emerges and lowers the number by 1, causing everyone of that age to vanish. The game follows a group on a quest to destroy the mysterious being. It is an intriguing setup and an epic tale, and the game's aesthetic is inspired by 19th century France, and its old school turn-based battles also set it apart. But the conventional wisdom that Guillaume began was that players didn't want something like that. So 5 years ago, he started to recruit people for his passion project, firing out messages on Reddit and online forums to potential colleagues. Yeah, one of those responded was Jennifer Svedberg-Yen, who was under lockdown in Australia at the time. Okay, I saw a post on Reddit by Guillaume and asking for voice actors to record something for free for a demo. I was like, I've never done that. It kind of sounds cool. So I sent him an audition. Jennifer was originally cast as a major character in an early version of the game, but eventually switched roles to become the team's lead writer. What? So she auditioned for voice work and then ended up becoming the lead writer. She was found on Reddit, and there's somebody who posts those like walls of text that could actually produce a game that is being well regarded by everybody who plays it. Interesting. Guillaume eventually left Ubisoft, and formed Sandfall Interactive to work on Clair Obscur full-time. That's based in Montpellier, France, which, used to be, and I think still is, Ubisoft's headquarters, where it's at. Anyways, after securing funding and from publisher Kepler Interactive, the core team grew to about 30 people, many of them found in a similar, unusual manner to Jennifer. Composer Laurien Testard, who has never worked on a video game before. Really? I gotta listen to some of this soundtrack as well, because that's something else that is also being, heralded heaven and back. I was discovered via posts on a music sharing website, SoundCloud. What? There's so many SoundCloud rappers out there punching air right now. I call this the Guillaume effect. He is very good at finding really cool people, says Jennifer. Guillaume more modestly attributes the success rates to COVID, people looking for a creative outlet, and also massive luck. And it's always the same story, he says. There's a list of 15 people to contact, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to get maybe none, no one at all. And every time, the first one is like, yeah, let's do it. But Guillaume does admit that he targeted people who seemed to be in line with the direction he wanted to take the project, while people that are actually looking to work on the same project, not trying to subvert it, not trying to infuse it with its own goofy stuff, but no, they all have a centralized passion for the project. AAA, Can you guys, take note of this stuff? Like, this guy's just out there literally posting help wanted ads and creating something magical. Lorian, when discussed the game for the first time, we had exactly the same references. We loved the same thing. We watched the same things. The discussion was so fluid. Expedition 33 has been widely praised for its production values, rivaling those of games worked on by hundreds, even thousands of staff. Yeah, because at his previous employer, their most recent output, Assassin's Creed Shadows, to compare and contrast that with the team that created Clair Obscur of about 33 people. He had a credit sequence for Shadows that ran in excess of 2 hours. Yeah. Guillaume attributes some of this to recent advances in tools used to make games, which allowed the team to work more efficiently. Having a backing of Kepler allowed the studio to attract actors, including Daredevil's, yes, Charlie Cox, Lord of the Rings star Andy Serkis, which, I seen that. I was completely taken aback by, but I think we played a clip, or at least I made reference of it beforehand. And video game actors Jennifer English and Ben Starr. Yeah, Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16. I think he voiced Clive, right? Another game that I really need to get around to as well. That one actually have. But anyways, yeah, you have Andy Serkis on it, okay, and even as butchered as Daredevil was with Born Again, seeing Charlie Cox being something that is actually appreciated in 2025, good for him. And while Sandfall did call on extra input from support studios, musicians, and other specialists, Jennifer and Guillaume say that the core team ended up wearing a lot of different hats. So we all pitch in and do different parts, things that may be outside of our traditional role, says Jennifer, who was also in charge of translating the game into different languages. Yo, man. Who would have thought Redditor would have been so valuable? We have, I think, an amazing team, mostly of junior people, but they are so incredibly invested in the project and so talented. Yeah, that's something else to compare and contrast, because we talked about this at the end of last year and then earlier this year, is the team that worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's just such an obvious parallel to draw right here. When you had, I think it was Mark Alexis Cote, the head of Assassin's Creed, or at least at that point in time prior to the Tencent buyout, he said that, yeah, like half of the people working on Shadows have never made a game before. That's exactly, actually, an overwhelming number of people over here at Sandfall have never worked on a game before. It just kind of goes to show that, yeah, you put the right people in place, people willing to work on this stuff, people willing to make a game instead of further a political agenda, yeah, they can do something magical. Okay, the people that actually want to work on a video game, signing up for a project, can do some magical things. This really does harken back to old game development of like the 90s and the early 2000s, where you just had a bunch of people, just showing up in somebody's garage, eager to work on a project and producing legendary work. That's exactly what happened here, and that's why this game its success is, it's very heartwarming, and that's why you love to see its success, and the fact that just a Frenchman and a weird Australian just created a game that is really should be the groundwork for not just the AAA, but for the AA and for the indie market to use going forward. This could be the template. Okay, this is a modest studio with a modest budget doing something phenomenal. I look forward to see what they do in the future. I look forward to seeing what other groups they inspire. Hopefully this is the future, not your Shadows, not your not your triple A and quadruple A fare. I don't care about that stuff. Nothing that's coming out of there looks all that exciting. Sans one example. You know what I mentioned, Final Fantasy Remake Part 3, because that's also, on a much bigger scale, a very passionate group of people that I pointed to and I've talked about ad nauseum before. So yeah, to see it play out on a smaller scale really does give you hope for the future of gaming. So shout out to them, and shout out to Clair Obscur 33. Even though you don't need my help promoting this overwhelming success any more than it already has. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.